So I would say maybe about a year or two ago, I heard my coach say something that really set me down. And he said, "You're doing too much for what you have." And what he was referring to in that context, because we were in the mastermind, it's a business mastermind, he was talking about how much effort we're putting in compared to the results that are coming out on the other end. And when he said that you're doing too much for what you have, I had to clutch my pearls. I really had to sit back because I was shocked at how true that was for me. Like, I was shocked at how much that was my reality. Like, you're doing so much. You're constantly creating content. You're constantly producing a podcast. You're constantly running coaching programs. You're also doing private coaching. You're doing all these things. But when you compare that to what you have, and when you compare that to what's on the other end, things aren't adding up. And so I came to learn about myself very soon after that I was addicted to doing, right? I was addicted to overworking. I was addicted to starting new things. I was addicted to execution on all my ideas. Now, for some people, this might not sound like a problem because actually, for a lot of people, they have the opposite problem. They're not starting at all. For a lot of people, they're not executing. For a lot of people, their ideas outnumber their results by a mile, right? But that's not my issue. My issue was the opposite. My issue is ideas are really dangerous in my mind because when I have them, I am going to execute and I am going to finish. I'm not one of those people that stop in the middle. I'm not one of those people who just sat it down and never get back around to it. And so, what was happening in our business was that I was executing on nearly all the ideas that I was having. And as a result, I was working constantly. And that landed me in a place where I had to realize I was burnt out. I was really burnt out. Now, I learned about burnout that burnout is a form of chronic stress. And so I didn't realize because the stress wasn't from something that was undesirable. I didn't realize that I was in a dangerous place. And so, what I want to talk about with you guys today is the new addiction of overworking, the new addiction of toxic ambition, the dangers of chronic stress, and why we should not be managing these circumstances, but doing everything we can to eliminate them. But the most important thing that I'm going to share with you guys today is how I got there. Like, how did I end up to this place where I believe that it was okay to work as much as I was working, even though my results, in my opinion, didn't necessarily match the amount of work I was putting in. The most important thing that I'm going to share with you today is this lifestyle disease of chronic stress and overworking and burnout, and the beliefs that we hold that get us in those circumstances. Because when you get to a place of burnout, that is usually at the far end of the overwhelm and the stress spectrum. And what can happen if you're not careful is that by the time you get to burnout, you're being forced to sit down and be still. And so you sit down and you be still for a little while. But because you didn't address how the heck did I end up here in the first place, once you recover, you burn out again. You start the cycle all over. And so I want to help you guys not only get out of the cycle, but prevent yourself from going back to it. And so that's what we're going to have conversation about today. Good morning, boys and girls on YouTube. What's up, Tamika? What's up, DJ? What's up, Terrence? What's up, Key? Hey, Stacy. Hey, Lachey. Look, all my regulars. It's good to see y'all in the building. Make sure you got your tea. I got mine in my gold handle. Honey, we are sipping good today, and I was ahead of the game today. I even had time to let it cool down a little bit, so it's ready to go. What y'all sipping on? Let me know in the chat. Did you bring your emotional support tea as I get in your business on today? You know you need it on Monday Morning Keynotes with yours truly. You gotta have your emotional support tea so you can sip, so you can swallow. When you feel like clapping back, like who she thinks she talking to, you just need a little something to soothe your emotions. Okay, so we're gonna all practice together. Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. Because I'm about to get in a lot of y'all business today. I know it's a lot of individuals, Black men and Black women, who are very accomplished, who are very degreed, who are very educated, who are very driven, who are very ambitious. in my audience. And so I know that many of you guys can relate to this idea of hashtag doing too much. And so I am going to get in your business and tell you some potential reasons why you do too much today. And then we're going to talk about where we should begin with reversing this addiction to overworking. Now, part of it is definitely just a culture we live in, right? We live in a culture that really praises execution. It really praises hard work and accomplishments and speed. And so all of it isn't our fault. You know, we're in a culture where this is expected of us. Like, go after it, don't stop. Work diligently towards your goals, like with reckless abandon. But some of us, myself included, have adopted that a little too much. And so today we're going to talk about this lifestyle disease of overworking. And we're in a lifestyle disease series right now. You know, our next challenge starts January 1st. And I told you guys last week when I talked about the dangers of being overweight that we were starting a lifestyle disease series, but many people, unfortunately, probably don't consider chronic stress and burnout and overworking a lifestyle disease. But I believe it is, because it makes us sick. It has the potential to make us sick, and chronic stress actually has the potential to take your life. So anything that has the potential to make you sick and take your life definitely starts typically as a disease. And so that's what this is today. Okay, let's see what y'all sipping on in the chat. Honey, Cheryl said chai. Okay, chai. My partner drinks chai and I like it. But sometimes all the time it has too much sugar. So I can just take one sip and I'm like, ooh, that's yummy, but I can't like drink it because it has too much sugar. I'm not saying yours does, but I'm just saying chai can be yummy. Green tea with ginger. Okay, B, I love it. Green tea with ginger. Let's go. Kiwi said, go handle. Listen, we have so many dope announcements coming for y'all in this next couple of weeks. And I am so excited this week in Clarity. Clarity is our community dedicated to optimizing your health, eliminating chronic stress, and helping you live a life of radical obedience. And so we're starting a new event this week called the Go Handle Club. And so we'll be having a Go Handle gathering every Thursday morning with me in our private community. And so you guys will be hearing more about this here Go Handle in some upcoming episodes and rhetoric. But let's get into it. Chris for Mayor says, I'm new here. Hey, y'all, we got a new viewer in the chat. Show Chris some love. Chris, thank you for being here. How did you find me, Chris? Where'd you come from? Are you on the email list? Come from Instagram? What did you see? What did you hear? Stacy says she has her okra water with key limes, trying something new. Let's go, Stacy. I love it. Okay, perfect. Okay, y'all got your emotional support beverage. Wonderful. Let's get into it. Okay, so I told you earlier that my coach said you're doing too much for what you have. You're doing too much for what you have. Like, the amount of work you're putting in doesn't really match the results that are coming out on the other end. And so when he said that, I really got to thinking about what belief was driving that behavior, right? What was I telling myself that forced me to continue to work that hard for minimal results, right? And so the thing that I settled on, that I believe a lot of you will be able to agree with, is I made a habit out of thinking that not doing enough was the reason that we weren't where I wanted us to be in the business. How many of you can relate to this? You look at maybe your impact, you look at maybe your income, you look at maybe your opportunities that are coming or that aren't coming, and you say, I must not be getting the opportunities. I must not be landing the clients. I must not be generating the revenue that I want to generate because I'm not doing enough. How many of you guys have thought that? I know that was the leading belief that was guiding my addiction to overworking. It is, I'm not doing enough, and that explains why I'm not where I want to be. That belief held me hostage, so much so that it led to burnout, right? Because I'm like, I can't afford to watch an episode of something like, I can't be laying here chilling. Like, how dare me be scrolling if I have not achieved my goals? I need to get up and do something. Like, I need to get up and put my hands on something. Like, I need to get on this mic and record something. Like, I need to get on this camera and say something. Like, I need to get behind the scenes and build something. Like, I'm not where I want to be because clearly I'm not doing enough. Can anybody relate to that? That was the belief that caused my overwork because there was guilt in slowing down. There was guilt in being still. There was guilt in doing less because the only thing that could possibly explain me not being where I want to be had to be I wasn't doing enough. And so that led to every idea needing to be executed sooner than later, right? And so I didn't want you guys, for those of you who hold that same belief, I don't want you to continue down that path because burnout is a real place. And burnout, if you don't check the belief that got you there, will just become a vicious cycle. Like you'll recover, you'll bounce back, you'll take some time off, and then you'll start over all again because you'll still be looking at the results and be like, we're not where we want to be. Let me get back to grinding, right? So here's the main thing I want to share with you guys today. There's 5 reasons that lands us in a state of overwork, burnout, overwhelm, toxic ambition, meaning every accomplishment is still not enough. It's still not enough. You got to go after the next thing. You got to bring home the prize. You got to get that medal and that certificate on your wall. Like it's not enough. I need to do more so I can get recognized more so that I can get another achievement. And even when I get those achievements, I don't even take the time to celebrate them. I just keep plowing through more things, right? Okay, here's the first one. Here's the first reason why many of us overwork and overcommit. Overwork and overcommit. So not only do you overwork, but you say yes too often. All right, you say yes too often. I need you guys to lean into today's episode because those of you who are going to be doing the 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge with us, if you still have a habit of overworking and overcommitting, you're going to convince yourself that you don't have time to do the things you need to do in the challenge and for your health. You're going to convince yourself that the work and the commitments that you've made to other people are more important than dedicating time and energy to your health. So the reason I'm including this topic in this lifestyle disease series is because this is the exact reason overworking and overcommitting why many of you are overweight and sick today. It is. This is the exact reason why many of you are pre-something, pre-diabetic, pre-hypertensive. This is the reason why many of you are on medications. This is the reason why many of you have erratic sleep. This is the reason why many of us have unhealthy relationship with food. This is the reason why many of us are overweight. This is the reason why many of us have aches and pains and gut issues and stomach issues because our overworking and our overcommitment has literally helped us to convince ourselves that we don't have enough time to pour into making meals from scratch. We don't have enough time to pour into doing a significant workout, not just a quick 10, 15-minute walk. We don't have enough time to meditate. We don't have enough time to do the personal development work we need to do to heal from stuff because we're overstretched, we're overcommitted. So I need you to understand why today's topic is so prevalent for you being able to have success as we work on your health going forward. So if you got that, got it in the chat, and I'm gonna get into these 5 reasons why you overwork and why you overcommit. Let's sip our tea too. I think it's time. Yep. I say yes too much. Come on now. Oh, too many yeses. Shonda Rhimes talking about the year of yes. Girl, almost burnt us out. I just read something the other day where Shonda's coming up with like a new, like just kind of revived version of that book, The Year of Yes. And I didn't realize that it was over 10 years old. I don't think I'm making that up. I know it's been a significant time since the book came out. And I was like, dang, that's a long time. That time flew by. It seems like just yesterday where Shonda Rhimes' book, The Year of Yes, was all the rage. Anyway, okay. So thank you, Wanda. At least one person said got it. I appreciate y'all giving me the feedback in the chat. So hey, Priscilla from Uganda says sipping on green tea with mint. Amen. I love it. Very good. One of my faves, by the way. I love a good mint. I love a good green tea. So welcome from Uganda. So thank you, Cheryl. Let's get into these 5 reasons why we overwork and overcommit. Here's the first one: you have trust issues. You have trust issues. And what's crazy is we say this oftentimes seriously but joking. Like we say it like in with levity. Like we're like, I got trust issues. I cannot, right? Matter of fact, I was talking to a colleague. We were in a meeting just last week, and he was like, I mean, I know I need help in my business, but I got trust issues. So I just do everything, right? And so the first reason that you may also be addicted to overworking and overcommitting yourself to things is because you have trust issues. And so what that means is you lack the ability to delegate, ask for, or accept help. You lack the ability. Like your mouth won't allow you to say yes. Your heart and your spirit won't allow you to surrender to help, right? You can't fathom someone not doing things the exact way you do them. Or you've actually been betrayed before. I've had, friends and family, and I've even listened to some like really dope entrepreneurial origin stories where people actually have been taken advantage of, right? By people they were working with or people that was working for them, right? Or even like business partners. And so for some of us, we've had experiences that have caused us to just hoard all the work. Or we are so married to our way of doing things that is very hard to let someone else in and get it done, but do it their way. Right. And so I'm going to tell you guys, this can be a challenge. I have a team of 5. I have a team of 5 people. And when I'm training someone on how to do things in the business, one of the things that I have to be constantly conscientious of is tell them the result you want. Don't necessarily spend as much time on how they need to get the result, like the steps they need to take to get there. At the end of the day, Lisa, the thing that you want to elevate and make more important over everything else is that the result was gotten. Not necessarily that they took the exact same steps you would have taken to get there, right? Because delegation is an art, right? Delegation is a responsibility of a great leader. And in order to delegate like a great leader, you have to understand that you're dealing with dynamic humans who are different from you. And while they are just as committed to the vision, the goal, and the outcome, they still have their own way of approaching things sometimes. And while you may require certain steps to be there has to come a moment, especially if you want to grow, which means your team is probably going to get a little bit bigger. Your responsibilities and opportunities are going to be a little bigger. And you're going to need more help. If you want to grow, you're going to have to surrender the how. You're going to have to surrender the how and just let the outcome be the goal, right? And so, when I'm teaching people how to craft copy for our company and how to, engage with our clients, I can't be a stickler like, I wouldn't have said it like that, or I wouldn't have did this. Like, unless they like very clearly violate a core value of the company, that's a different subject. But sometimes you have to let people do things the way they do it as long as they get the result, right? Because number one, the average person doesn't like to be micromanaged, and that will turn them off if they feel like they're constantly being watched and critiqued, right? And then number two, what's the point of getting help if you got to double check everything and now you just doubling your own work? You actually never really get freedom if you don't give people the freedom to do things their way, because you're micromanaging every single thing they do, which means you really didn't buy back any of your time, right? And so trust issues. Trust, and this includes friends and family stuff too. I'm not just talking about business and entrepreneurship. Like a lot of us, men, women, we overcommit in our household. We overcommit in our friendships. We overcommit in our relationships because we're just like, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. Like making plans with your spouse, for example. You want to do everything because you like a certain way. Like I like these type of hotels, or I like this type of space, or I want to stay here. And you're so particular about everything that you will not release anything to anyone else. So I'm not just talking about entrepreneurs. I'm talking about all of you guys. We're overworking and overcommitting in our private lives and our professional lives because we have trust issues. We can't, or we refuse to delegate, or we refuse to accept help, or we refuse to ask for help. And honey, that will keep you stressed out because you are hoarding all of the work and at the same time complaining about being tired and burnt out and overwhelmed with responsibilities. And sometimes we make big, bold claims like nobody's helping me and I don't have any support. When the truth is, you're actually just not activating the support you have. You actually have people who want to serve you, who want to help you, but then you demand that things are done your way and things are done a certain way. And at the end of the day, that's just not a sustainable way to live personally or professionally. So that's number one. That's number one. Okay. Trust issues is one of the ways we end up with an addiction to working and overcommitting and extreme burnout and toxic ambition. Let's get into number two. Number two, the second reason that many of us can end up in this space is because misunderstanding the definition of faith. Okay. Misunderstanding the definition of faith. Now, we have heard and we know and we completely intellectually understand faith without works is dead, right? And so many of us, highly educated, highly ambitious individuals, we have done a phenomenal job of mastering works, okay? Because faith seems so easy and obvious, right? Because you don't have to physically do anything to have faith. Most of us ignore that part of the scripture. We're like, faith without works is dead. So we like, get up and get it done. Get up and do something. Get up and execute. Execution is worshiped, right? But I would invite the majority of you listening to actually revisit the first part of the scripture about faith. The works you have mastered. You can let yourself off the hook. Like, you don't have to keep proving yourself that you can work hard. You don't have to keep proving to other people that you're a hard worker. You got the degrees to prove it. You got the certificates to prove it. You got the burnout to prove it. You got the extra weight and the medications to prove it. You done neglected your whole health. Honey, you got the divorce to prove it. You done lost your whole relationship because of how much you work. We get it. Okay, you have mastered the works part of the scripture. The thing that most of us have not mastered, though, is the faith portion of the scripture. Okay, faith without works is dead, and we all just assume that we have mastered faith. We are giving ourselves credit for having faith when you have no evidence that you have faith. You have no evidence that you have faith because if you had faith, did you know that you wouldn't work so hard? Did you know that if you have faith, you would have mastered the art of discerning what needs to be worked on and what needs to be surrendered to? Faith means that you don't run yourself into the ground, that there are some pieces and some parts that you leave to God. Faith means I can trust that my ideas don't all have to be executed on. I can trust that things are coming in the time that they are meant to come in. I can trust everything that God says about me and to me, and there is no need to stretch myself so thin. Faith means I can trust other people that are raising their hand to help me and support me. I can trust my partner. I can trust my admin. I can trust my team. I can trust my friends and my family and my siblings and everybody that actually wants to help. That is a faith play. Accepting help is a faith play, right? Being still and deciding, you know what? I'm just going to lay here for another hour. I'm not going to jump up and get to work. I'm going to actually listen to my body as it's telling me you're tired. I'm going to listen to my brain as it's telling me I'm exhausted. I'm going to listen to my body as it's telling me, yo, we would love some fresh food, some fresh fruits and vegetables today. I'm going to listen to my body as it's telling me you need to go walk, run, sprint, squat, lunge, and push up. I'm going to listen to my body. I have faith to know that everything that I've already built is still working for me. And I don't have to keep pushing past exhaustion and ruining my own health, my own relationships, my own well-being. That's a faith play. So many of us, the second reason we're overworked and overcommitted is because we have given ourselves credit for understanding what it means to have faith, not realizing that we actually have no faith. There's no evidence of faith anywhere. We are still trying to do everything in our own might, by our own hand, with our own ideas, with our own pocketbook. We're not surrendering nothing to God. We just like, nah, I don't trust the team to do this, and I don't trust God to take it over. I'm just going to show up every day, hop out of bed, and overwork. I'm going to commit to a bunch of the other things that I don't even have the capacity for, just because I don't want to miss an opportunity, just because I'm so desperate to win, because I don't understand that the thing that I've went out of my way to master works is not even where my energy should have been going. I should have been working on my faith. That's reason number 2. You got your emotional support, T? You got it? You got it? Put it. Now might be the time to go ahead and pull it up. Now might be the time to go ahead and get your tea up. We have to stop thinking that everything happens with more work. Lisa, you have to stop thinking everything happens with more work. Put your name in there. You have to stop thinking that results are going to come with more elbow grease. Do people still use elbow grease? My mama used to. Okay. We have to stop thinking that's the only way to get it done. Some stuff you have to surrender and release and be still, or wait. Just wait on it. Just wait. You ain't got to do all that right now. Just wait. Just wait. Okay. So that's reason number 2. We have ended up in this toxic relationship with doing and commitment. Like, you ain't got to be the one to plan the whole party and the whole engagement just because you like the tablecloths a certain way and the food a certain way and the guest list a certain way and the music a certain way. Like, get some help. You doing too much. You doing way too much. Okay, let's get into number 3, 4, and 5. Okay, guys. Okay. The third reason why you're in a state of overwhelm and burnout and chronic stress and overcommitment is because of the belief that I named when I first came on today. And that is believing that not doing enough is the reason you aren't where you want to be, right? So this is a belief that needs to be shifted for you, okay? When you're not where you want to be, when you're not producing the results that you want to produce, it doesn't always mean it's because you're not doing enough. It could be you're not doing something right, right? So that means I don't need to add on something. So that means, for example, if your YouTube channel is not producing like you want it to produce, maybe you monetize, maybe your subscribers aren't increasing, maybe your viewership isn't going up. This is not an invitation to now start a podcast, right? This doesn't mean you need to do more. This means I need to look at my YouTube strategy and see what adjustments need to be made. Maybe my titles aren't compelling. Maybe my content is too long or too short. Maybe my visuals are a turnoff. What's my subject matter like? Maybe I haven't nailed down a subject matter and I'm all over the place. Like, we need to look at what we're already doing and dissect that. But that's not fun. Right? And so, like, evaluating the quality of the work you're currently doing is the real invitation. But what most of us do is just try and add on something else. Well, I'm not getting the traction I want on YouTube, so let me go start a podcast. Well, I'm not getting the traction I want with the podcast, so let me go start a 5-day challenge. Well, I'm not getting the traction I want with the challenge, so no, you don't need to more. You need to look at what you're currently doing and make sure that you have studied that platform, that thing, to understand what it needs to make it good, right? And so this belief that I'm not doing enough is the reason I'm not where I want to be, may be the third reason why you are stretched too thin. You don't need to add more. You need to take a critical eye to what you're currently doing. So who has mastered what you're doing? Who can support you in helping you see your blind spots? Oh, maybe if you make these adjustments and these tweaks, things will get better. So we're not testing enough, right? For a lot of the things that we're doing, we're just assuming I need to just add something else to the pot. And that's not necessarily true. I remember several months ago, it might have even been last year, I texted my coach and I was like, do you think I need to get a PhD? And he just laughed. He like, no, absolutely not. No, you're good. You don't need a PhD. Where you're trying to go, where you have enough credentials already, you have enough credibility. You're good. He actually laughed me out of town. He's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. I was just ready to pile on another thing onto the plate. Maybe I should just start taking virtual classes. Girl, sit down. No, you don't need a PhD. Go sit down. Your MBA is good enough. You good. You good, right? And so that's just another example. We're like, let me just introduce something new versus looking at what I'm already doing, what I already have, and really being honest with myself about, well, is that excellent already, right? Is that as good as it can be already? Because that's the hard part. Because typically, to get something from good to great, you have to grow, right? And so it's much easier to introduce something new sometimes than it is to perfect something you have, because usually you can only get something to a level that matches your current mindset and belief systems, right? So in order to go from good to great, that typically means your mindset and your belief systems have to expand. Good to great usually takes personal development work, right? And so that's what makes it challenging. And so that's why a lot of us, we would prefer to introduce and start something new than to refine something we're already doing, because that refinement is usually not always a skill. It's usually a belief or a mindset that we have to adopt. Okay. And so that's the hard work, because that's how we avoid burnout, is like, let me work on what I'm already doing, and let me take a more critical eye to it, and let me ask for help, and let me ask somebody else to read it, watch it, listen to it, and let me get critique, and let me figure out how it needs to be better. That's hard for a lot of us. And so we just rather do something new, right? So that people won't critique our baby. But you got to get better, right? So if you want your relationships, your friendships, your marriage, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your relationship with them to go from good to great, that's usually a personal development play. So that means you got to go to them and say, what am I not doing that's good? Like, how can I be better as a partner? How can I be better as a parent? How can I be better as a friend? Like, to take a situation from good to great is a personal development play. And sometimes that's hard. And so we'd rather just keep things at good. So first of all, we can protect our little fragile ego, but also so that we don't have to do the harder work of becoming somebody different. And that ain't gonna work. Okay, y'all burnt out and tired. All right, let's get into number 4. These the last two, y'all. How do we end up so overcommitted and overworked? The number 4 is also a belief. It's a belief. And that belief is that you might believe that being still feels like being idle, and being idle is a carnal sin, right? So being still feels like being idle, and being idle, we're taught, is a carnal sin. And this is very challenging for people who have mastered works. Faith without works is dead. So I'm going to work or work. I'm going to make sure I do my part so God can do his part, right? And so we overplay our part, right? We overwork. We do too much, right? We neglect other things that are important. And we believe that as soon as we stop, like, we're being idle now. And being idle is the devil's playground. And so I need to always keep things moving so that I don't get caught being idle, right? And so being still feels like being idle. Doing less feels like being idle. How dare you create more empty space on your calendar? How dare you create more space in your life? How dare you not fill every empty slot in your calendar? That feels so dangerous for some people. I can't be out here with things that with no responsibility. I can't be out here with no to-do list. I can't get caught out here without a laundry list of things that I should be doing. And that is dangerous. It's risky, right? But doing less doesn't mean you're idle, right? There is a wonderful balance between rest and work. And I think one of the things, if I was to add something onto number 4 here, another belief that I know I personally had to work really, really hard to eliminate. Another limiting belief that I had to work really hard to eliminate was that rest has to be earned. Rest has to be earned. And so the first one is that the first belief is that being still feels like being idle, and being idle is a carnal sin. And the second belief is you earn rest. Rest is a right. It's not a privilege that you earn. So, but for a lot of us, it's like you don't get to be still until you done been productive. But sometimes our bodies and our minds is calling us to be still. And you'll know when you've been doing too much. Our body sends us signals, it gives us clues, right? But unfortunately, we don't know. Like, we're like, I haven't done enough to take a nap. Like, I haven't done enough to take a day off. Like, I haven't done enough to work a half a day. Right. So being idle, is the assumption that we're making when we do a little less. Like, I was talking to someone not too long ago and I'm like, dude, you need to take a day off. You need to slow down. And she's like, nah. And I just stopped trying. I'm like, okay. And she's like, no, I can't. I can't afford to do that. Like, how? Like, work needs to be done. And I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I get that you don't believe that you can slow down or take some time off or whatever. And so I'm not gonna try and convince you. I'm just gonna put that in your subconscious, and hopefully it begins to sprout when the time is right. But being still feels like being idle. Idle is a cardinal sin, or rest has to be earned. I'm not where I want to be, or haven't produced enough this week, this month, this year, and so I don't get to rest. I don't have that privilege because I got things I gotta accomplish. And so those two beliefs, especially the one about rest is something you earn, can be really dangerous, because the next question becomes, well, who decides when you've done enough? Like, who sets the bar? Like, if rest is something that is earned, who decides when you've earned it? Who does you? Let me get this straight. You grading your own paper? Do you know how unhealthy that is? Let me get this straight. You grade your own paper and you get to decide. No, 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 no. No, like, one of the things I'm personally working towards is a 4-day work week, right? When I do my affirmative writing every morning, that's one of the things that I write down. It's like, I work maximum, not minimum. I work maximum 4 days a week. That means I'm going 3 days without working. That is the goal. That's what I'm working toward. And so it's very important to have a standard, but it's very dangerous to be grading your own paper. If you have this belief that you earn rest, but you're the only one saying and deciding when you've done enough, like, that don't even make sense. Anyway, let's get into number 5, y'all. Let's get into number 5. Okay. Now, this one I love. It actually comes from business expert Alex Hermosi. I like Alex's stuff, and he teaches business a lot. And one of the things Alex says that I believe is absolutely a leading reason why many of us are tired and overcommitted and burnt out is, he says that the word priority cannot be plural. Okay. So the 5th reason that you may be addicted to work and in this cycle of burnout is because you have a distorted view of what's important. That means that you think you can put an IES on the word priority. That means when you are deciding what to work on, you have a list of priorities, which completely negates the definition of the word. Priority can only be singular. You can only have one thing that's a priority. It's impossible for 5 things to be a priority. And so the final reason many of us are doing too much and don't know how to stop is because we have foolishly decided that at least 4 things are priority. I have 4 priorities. You cannot. I love it when Alex said, and I think he said it was just recently in the 20th century that we've started making the word priority plural. You have a distorted view of what's important, right? And so the truth of the matter is, only one thing can be a priority at a time. Only one thing can be a priority at a time. And when you embody that and when you surrender to that, you then channel all of your energy, focus, and resources toward the priority in this season, the priority in this month or week or day, as opposed to labeling 8 tabs as priority. Okay? The truth of the matter is, we have to get better with deciding what's priority. Like, stepping back, zooming out, and being like, okay, I have a bunch of things that I want to do. I have a bunch of things that I would like to do. I have a bunch of things that feel important, but what's true? What's truly priority in this season? Is it your health? Is it your relationship? Is it your faith? Is it healing? Is it your business? What's priority? Like, we have to stop making that word plural. And that was a game changer for me, because I for sure used to be like, I got about 4 things that's equally important. No, but you're still not prioritizing, because prioritizing means you've made one thing priority. There's no such thing as priorities. Priority is only singular. And that was just a game changer for me. All right. So I love that perspective, and putting that into play has really changed the game for me. So those are the 5 reasons how we end up overworked and burnt out and stressed out. You guys know chronic stress is really, really a silent killer. And when you overwork and overcommit, that means that you are burning the stick at both ends. You are stretching yourself so thin that you begin neglecting the important things that actually sustains life, like the way you eat, the way you drink, how you move, rest, recovery, relaxation, quality time with loved ones, all of those things that actually gives life and extends life. You begin to neglect them when you overstretch. And so when we have these overactive nervous systems that are you're constantly go, 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 right? We're not getting into that rest and digest. We're not getting into that, activating that parasympathetic nervous system. We have all this hyperactivity in our body and our brains because we're not recovering. We're all jumping up on caffeine, and we're all on energy drinks, or we're starving ourselves and we don't have enough fuel in our body because we're not eating, or we're just snacking all day. Like, it's all so dangerous. And so I want us to do better. I want us to do so much better with identifying, well, how did I get up here in the first place? So take which one was for you today, right? Was it you have trust issues and you don't have the ability to delegate, ask for help, or accept help? Do you have a misunderstanding of the word faith, and you think just having a relationship with God is having faith? You think going to church or praying and read scripture is faith. That's not faith, right? That's a relationship with God, and that's being spiritual and prayerful, but that's not faith. Right. And so faith is all about surrender and relinquishing control. And so that may be the reason why you have an issue with overworking, or thinking that I'm not doing enough is the reason that I'm not where I want to be. And I need to add on more things to get where I want to be. When the truth is, you need to actually take a more critical eye to what you're currently doing and assess why that isn't producing. Right. Being still feels like being idle. Maybe that's the reason why you are overworking and overstretched. Right. Being still feels like being idle. And then also, rest has to be earned. If those are the beliefs that's underlying your behavior, that's where your work needs to start. And then finally, believing that more than one thing can actually be priority instead of doing the harder work of making a decision. When you decide, that means to kill off all other options. That's what that suffix IDE means. Decide means to kill off all other options. So when you are taking the stance that 4 things can be priority, you are not making a decision. So if you are pluralizing the word priority, you probably need to work on being more decisive. Okay. I hope that blessed y'all today. I hope that blessed y'all. Now, if you are one of those people where stress really is getting the best of you, today, November 10th, we're starting the final chronic stress focus group. It's called the Clarity Lab. We're starting the final one that I'm doing until March 2026. So it's going to be a while before we bring back the Clarity Lab, because our priority in this season is the 30-day vegan SOS free challenge. And so I had to make a decision on what to take off the plate for a bit, right? So today, November 10th through Friday, November 14th, is a 5-day, 1 hour a day. So you'll spend 5 hours with me working on eliminating chronic stress. I'm going to teach you my proprietary framework for doing so. And so I invite you to get registered. I think the link to register is pinned here in the chat on YouTube, lisaangelsmith.com/Clarity Lab. This is the last one I'm doing until March of 2026. Last month, our October lab, our participants, 100% of them said they would recommend the lab to other people. We are very proud of the results we get in the Clarity Lab because it's really helping people better understand stress, the detriments of stress, and how to go from managing it to eliminating it. And so if you need to learn that, I invite you to the Clarity Lab. It starts today, November 10th through November 14th, 1 hour a day. You'll be with me at 7 p.m. EST, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern. And so I would love to have you in the lab. It's complimentary. It doesn't cost you anything. But for some of you, this is where your work on your physical health needs to start. It needs to start with us working on your relationship with stress so that we can get your nervous system calmed down, change some beliefs for you so that way we can move full on into you learning how to eat like you got some sense. So this 5-day chronic stress focus group is a great prep for those of you who are going to do our 30-day vegan challenge with us, right? Because let me get you together on a stress front, and then all the food and exercise will become 10 times easier, okay? So the link to register for the lab is in the chat, pinned in the notes here. And so I look forward to seeing many of you tonight, November 10th, 7 p.m. Eastern, in the classroom with me, learning and having a good time so that we can prepare you for success. What's some takeaways y'all got from today? I would love to hear them. What's some takeaways y'all got for today? The Wanda on top of it. What's up, Josh? Man, Josh, we miss you. Josh said, sometimes you can't be productive till you be still. Yes, you gotta be still first sometimes to get back to productivity. That's the whole truth. And so much magic happens in that stillness. I'm sure you guys know, like you get divine downloads, you get so much clarity when you stop for a minute. Because I really believe one of our biggest hindrances is just the fact that we don't make time to think. And so being more productive actually starts with doing less. So thanks for that takeaway, Josh. Wanda's takeaway, she says, all of the above for me. You done stepped on my feet today. Very good, Wanda. I'm happy to hear it. I love that. Man, shout out to Erica. She said, do the Clarity Lab, y'all. It was outstanding. Come on now, outstanding. Let me take a screenshot. She said, it was outstanding. I love that. Thank you, Erica. Thank you for participating in the lab. And it's a good time, but I really challenge you guys though. Y'all probably know that by now, right? I don't believe in soft parenting. Okay. So I really challenge y'all in the lab to address your beliefs, address the stories you're telling yourself, address your fears, address your insecurities, right? Address your confidence and esteem, address your willingness to execute, address your faith, address your indecisiveness. All of that has to happen for us to move out of a state of chronic stress. And so that's what we're going to be doing together from November 10th to the 14th inside of the lab. You have to register before the lab begins. I do not allow any registrations once that clock hits 7 p.m. Eastern on the first day, because I want the group, like if you come in a day or two late, you miss too much, because it's only 5 hours, right? It's 1 hour a day for 5 days, right? And so if you can't start from the beginning, then unfortunately you'll have to wait to our next lab. So if you're not registered for this Clarity Lab starting today, Monday, November 10th, make sure you get registered before 7 p.m. EST, because once we turn that thing on, it's a wrap, right? I don't allow any late registrations just because of how short the experience is, okay? So I like you to get everything, all right? Okay. Thank you, Lachey. Shout out to all of the people in the chat who done been through some stuff. Lachey said clarity was amazing and will be this week as well. The SOS challenge is too. Thank you. Lachey took our last Clarity Lab as well, which was super dope. Lachey, I hope you've made those tough decisions and begin to move forward on them. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, because I be remembering the stuff y'all be sharing in the lab and what we need to do. So please don't make me check on you, okay? Excellent. Okay, well, I think that's it for today, y'all. Make sure you register for the lab. I will see you guys this week, and I will be back here next Monday with another installment in our lifestyle disease series. See you guys then. Bye, y'all.